Hello guys, my name is Andrew, and this is the first Onshape robotics tutorial. So if you miss the workshops we have, well guess what? We have videos so you can catch up and that way you don't fall behind the workshops. But if you're not part of our club but here just to watch, well guess what? This is a very good tutorial and it's very beginner friendly and this should teach you just the basics and that way you can expand to like greater things. So, when you first make an Onshape account, or if you haven't yet, please do so. Your screen should look somewhat similar to this. Okay, the reason why mine is slightly different is because I'm using an enterprise account. What you have is going to be just a basic account, so it's going to look different. For example, top left corner, we have our logo, our club logo, but you should have like an Onshape logo. Okay, uh, that so before we start, let's go talk about the advantages and disadvantages of Onshape. One of the biggest advantages of Onshape is that it's everything we do, it's cloud based. Okay, Onshape is cloud based. That just means anywhere you can use Onshape anywhere you want in your iPad, laptop. You just need an internet connection. Disadvantages: number one is highline Wi-Fi, and if you have trash Wi-Fi, it's going to run very slow. So it's not very good for that. And one of the greatest advantages of Onshape, which I love so much, is that everything you make, all your parts, your folders, all that stuff, it's inside the web browser or in the cloud. And if you use Inventor or SolidWorks, everything is saved in your computer with files and folders. The problem with that is sometimes it can get corrupted, or when you're making very big assemblies and for some reason you accidentally move one part or deleted it, it would mess up the entire assembly. And you cannot move your parts and folders and rename them that easily compared to Onshape. So that's pretty much it. So enough with the chatting. Let's go start making our first part. So if you look at the top left, there should be this blue tab that says create. This is where we're going to create our parts. But before we do that, let's go look at these first two, which is document and folder. Folders, you just create folders in Onshape. So let's go create our first folder. So right now, I'm just going to name it my name, which is Andrea, and put today's date, which is 25/25. Okay, so now go back, top left, press create, and go press on document. So this is your Onshape document. This is the part where you can make parts and assemblies and do your simulations. So let's go press on that. And let's go name it workshop all caps. Press create. So right now your screen should look somewhat similar to this. So before we press anything, let's go first look what we have. So in the top left here in the tab, this is your toolbar. Right now it has the sketch, your extrusion, your feature tools, whatever, all these stuff. This is for what you call it, metal sheets or sheet metalling, very good tool. And here in the right are your custom joint, or not custom joints, your custom features. These are very powerful tools. Right now you should have none, but if you're in our enterprise, you should have all of these already. Now, if you look at the left side, this is our feature history, okay, and also our parts list. This is very important. So if you look at, so if you made an essay, all the other stuff, if you press on history, you can see each step you've done. This is what this thing is. So when you're making a sketch and extruding it, you can see everything you've done. If you want to go back and change something, just look here in your feature history and just change it and everything goes back to normal. And here again, let's go to the right side. Let's start from the top right. Here is a cube. Okay. There's two ways to change your viewport or your camera. Number one, let's start with the mouse. So if you press right click and move our mouse, what? As you can see, we can rotate the camera. Okay, so here it is. Just mess around with it. Another way to move the camera, let's say if you want to move left and right, you press the middle mouse button. So press the middle mouse button, move your camera around. What? No way. And if you go back to the right cube, if you just click on it, I guess hold it, as you can see, you can move it around. This is very important. Let's just say we're creating a sketch on the front plane, which we'll be doing later. As you can see, if you try to move it using the mouse, try to make it perfectly aligned in the front plane, as you can see, it's not perfectly aligned. In fact, it's not even straight. See, it's kind of slanted. The way we want it to be straight is by using the cube right here to the right. So press on front, and ta-da, you're perfectly straight. And obviously there's arrows here, just rotates it. The yaw, roll, pitch, all the other stuff. And here's another one. Here's your rendering options. Isometric, diametric, trimetric, all that stuff. And here's the other things. Right now, do not touch them. Uh, we'll learn them in another video, but right now, don't touch these. Most of the time, you just be using these three. And here on the right, here are your apps, I believe. Right now, we'll not be touching these. If you're an enterprise, you should have all of these already. So right now, let's go start making our first part. The part we're going to first make is a cube. And the way you make objects in Onshape or any CAD softwares is that you start with a 2D sketch. And you use these tools/features, which is extrude, revolve, sweep, loft, and thickness, and thicken I mean, to create a 3D shape from a 2D shape. The one we'll be focused on for this video is going to be extrude. So before we do that, let's go first create a sketch. Since we're making a 2-inch cube, obviously we're going to create a square, and from that we're going to extrude it. So let's go press on sketch. So as you can see, sketch 1, it's red, it's red. That means our sketch is incomplete. It's telling us to select a sketch plane. So let's select the front plane right here. And you know you've selected it if it's highlighted. So let's go press that. And ta-da! And as you can see, if we're trying to draw something, let's just say a line. Okay, square. As you can see, ooh, that's very difficult to draw a square because we're at such a weird angle. Uh, Again, use that cube on the top right, and ta-da, it makes us perfectly normal to that plane. And uh, the way you delete stuff is number one, just like when you're writing an essay, press left click and just drag so you can make a box, and just press backspace or delete and you delete the thing you made. So I already used the first tool, which is line, and just mess around with it right now, right here. And right now I made the square. Another way to delete stuff or go back is by pressing Ctrl Z, just like when you're writing an essay. And as you can see, let's go try making a square. The way you want to start by making any sketch is making it based off the origin, which is right here. So let's go start from the origin. And you know you start from the origin is when it highlighted like this yellow. And let's just say you press here, you messed up, is that you don't have to click again and delete it, you can just press escape and it just ends that tool. And another way you know you selected which tool you have is when it's kind of highlighted this gray color. And that's how you know you've selected it. And if you want to deselect from it, just press escape. So let's go start making our first square. So just drag your line around, just ignore the numbers. Right now you can see in the bottom right from where my cursor is, there is this line, there's a horizontal line. That is a constraint. that just means this line is perfectly horizontal, and it's always going to be horizontal. Same thing if you do it straight up. Again, vertical line, that just means it's perfectly vertical. And if you make it sideways, it's no longer perfectly vertical. And do this again. Now, as you can see, when we get close to the origin or the vertical part of the origin, it kind of snaps onto it. So that's our that snap-on object. And you know you snapped onto it is when you can see that yellow dashed line. So if you want it straight and here. Okay, so just press escape again. Now we made our first square. As you can see, that took a pretty long time. The way you want to make a square is not by using these lines, it's by using corner rectangle. So look at the top left. All of these tools right here are just ways to, I guess, draw shapes. Okay, then we're going to extrude it. So right now, let's go use the corner rectangle. The one you guys must be seeing or should be using is the one where you see there's like a dot in the corners. If it's not that, let's say you use this one or this one, just press this bottom right arrow or right arrow, it's like a drop down menu, and press corner rectangle. Or you can see that there's like a letter right next to corner rectangle, it's G. That's a shortcut. So you can just press G and it should automatically select it or deselect it. So again, let's go delete this and try to make it in the middle. So how in the world do you make it in the middle, like a square or a rectangle? Go to your corner rectangle again. There should be like an arrow. Press center point triangle. Unlike corner rectangle where you go corner to corner, this one starts from the center and goes to the corner. So let's go to the middle. So you can hear snaps on. You know you snapped on when you see those yellow lines, yellow dash lines. And when it turns yellow, that means you selected the middle part. And boom, as you can see, starts from the middle to the corner. So roughly 2 inches. Do this again. Highlight the sides and press 2. And ta-da! We have our square in the middle. So this is very good practice. So when you're making a part, try to make the part in the middle. And that way you have your planes already in the middle. And that way you don't have to go and make new planes when you make a very big part. Okay, so you have less stuff to do if you start from the middle. So let's go try to now let's go try to make this 2D sketch into a 3D object. So click on the sketch mark, the check mark, and let's go press the extrude feature. So you can see there's like Shift E, that's another shortcut. Okay, now yet again, it's red, that means it's incomplete. And look what's highlighted. It's telling us faces and sketches regions to extrude. Well, guess what? Didn't we already made a sketch? Now, there's 2 ways to select a sketch. Number 1, we can just find a region, which is this. You know it's a region when it's kind of this, see that dark shape? That tells you that this is an airtight sketch. Okay, it's enclosed. So you can press on that. Or the best way, if it's just one shape like this, you can just press sketch 1. Okay. Depending on what you're making, it's sometimes more beneficial to press the sketch here, especially when you're planning to change stuff in the future. If not, you can just, select on the region. So since we're making a 2-inch cube, right now it's kind of 1 inches. It's kind of too small. We want it 2 inches. Just change the depth to 2, and ta-da! Now, the problem we're seeing is it's not in the middle. Well, guess what? Because it's just extruding this way, we can also change it, extrude the other way. But you can see it's still not in the middle. So how do we make it in the middle? There's this thing called symmetric. That just means it's just going to extrude both ways evenly until the total extrusion length is 2 inches. So if we press that, boom, it's now in the middle. And let's do our mental math thinking. If it's symmetric, that means each side coming from the middle plane, it's going out 1 inch in both directions. That's pretty much it. So press check mark. And ta-da! Congratulations, you guys made your first 3D object in Onshape. So let's go try to make a more complicated shape since a square is pretty easy. So right now, let's go try giving this cube a cube hat. Okay. Right now, these front, right, and top plane, is making this, it's kind of messy. The way we get rid of these planes is, again, go to your history tab and just press hide top. It should be like an eye, and just press on that. As you can see, when it's like an X mark, that just shows it's hidden. We haven't deleted it, it just says it's hidden. Now the only thing left is that origin. I always recommend having the origin present so you know where you started. Okay? When you're making big parts, these giant files, sometimes you don't know where the origin is. And when you're using this tool, blah blah blah, and you're not in the origin, it may, let's just say you make a square all the way to the right and you press front view. It's not going to show the square because it's all the way to the right. Okay, so that's why you always put the origin in so you know where you started off. So let's just try giving this guy a hat. As you can see what I said earlier about the sketching, you can either do it from a plane or a flat surface. Since this is a cube, this is a flat surface. So just press on that flat surface on the top. Okay, press N or the cube right there. And let's go give this guy a tiny hat. And let's go try to make this hat straight in the middle. Ta-da! Using the center rectangle. And let's go make this hat 0.75 inches. There we go. So again, there's 2 ways to extrude it again. Number 1, pressing check mark, then pressing extrude shift E, or doing this, or the fastest way and the best way, if you want to CAD faster, is that when you go to the sketch, just use the shift E shortcut, and it should automatically extrude it. So right now, it automatically does 1 inches all the time. Right now it says 1 inches, and in my opinion, that's a pretty good shape. And right now, as you can see, it says new, and right now it automatically went to add. So there's 4 types of extrusions you can do using a solid. Right now, we're not going to mess around with surface and thin. There's new, add, remove, and intersect. Okay. Right now, we're only going to use new, add, and remove. New just means it creates a second part. That means you're creating a multi-body part. Right now, we're not going to mess around with that for this video. And here's one for add. That just means it just adds a part. It just, wherever it extruded, it's going to add it to the first part, which is this, or we can press remove, which just removes. But right now, we want to give this guy a hat, so we're going to add. And boom, this guy has a wonderful, wonderful hat. Okay, so the cube has a hat. Now, let's go give this cube some more decorations. Another way, so let's press sketch, go to the front of the cube. You know it's the front because if you look at the top right cube, it says front, and we're pressing the corresponding part of the front. Press N. Now, let's go give this guy, I don't know, a cylinder face. So let's go give this cube a cylinder face. Press center point. And let's go make this circle. Let's go make it 1.5 inches. Ta-da! And again, shift E. And the depth, let's go make it 1.25. What? Okay. So this cube is it's kind of looking like a pipe. Okay, very handsome pipe. Now, let's go start learning how to use different types of extrusion. Since we learned how to make new from the first extrusion, which made the first part, add in our second extrusion, let's go learn remove. So press sketch again, select the front of that cylinder, press front, and let's go do like a small, let's go remove a small part right here. So again, center point circle, starts from the center, and highlight, make sure you highlight, oops, I kind of messed up, highlight the middle. As you can see, another constraint here, either go from the middle or here, the middle is not being highlighted. As you can see the two circles? That means it's concentric. That means when you're making a circle and you're placing a circle and it's concentric in that circle, that means both circles share the same middle. Okay, so boom, again. Right now, click again, but this time press escape. Okay, here I'll show you guys a trick. So let's just say what we want to do is make this thickness of this wall, or the distance between here, let's go make it 0.25. So how do you do that? Go to dimension. Okay, select on the inner circle and press on the outer circle. And let's go press 25. There you go. So you can see, let's move this around. There's like an offset. It's offset 25 inches. So right there. So we press Shift E, shortcut, and let's go press remove. Now as you can see, it removed. Okay. So let's just say we mess up and it removes this way. Your extrusion messes up, okay? Because why? Because it's removing nothing, so it turns red. When you're using the remove extrusion tool, it always must remove something. If it does not, the extrusion is going to fail and it's going to have this error. So right now, let's go change the direction or just press this button. And let's go make it 0.5 deep. Press check mark and ta-da! It's like this very weird Lego piece. And let's go decorate this guy even more. Let's go try learning another feature slash tool, which is right here when it says linear pattern. We don't want to do that. We want to do circular pattern. So press on circular pattern. Again, it should say red because it's incomplete. Right now, there's two things it's asking for: entities to pattern and axis of pattern. Okay. Right now, let's go focus on an axis of pattern. This just means it's trying to find an axis to rotate around. So right now, if we want this thing to rotate around this cube we have, and the way we do that is by specifying that the axis is in the center of this. And because it's rotating around the z-axis, we want that axis slash line to be straight and parallel to the z-axis while intersecting the middle of the box. So let's go do that. So let's go press on sketch and be like, yo, how do we draw a line there? Well, guess what? Remember what I said? It's always best practice to start making your parts in the middle. This is the reason why. We can use our front plane. Let's go bring it back again, make it show visible. Because this is already in the middle, all we have to do is draw a line in the middle, and that line would be in the center of the square. Okay, so let's go do that. And let's go be fancy. So let's go specify which plane we're drawing from, which is the front plane. Let's go be fancy and use the midpoint line. So what does this midpoint line do? Well, it just starts from the middle and goes to the end. Okay, and this part, as you can see, this one doesn't have to be defined. As you can see, it's blue, so we can move it around. This one doesn't really matter because we're not making a shape. We're just specifying a line. So press check mark. So here is our axis. So let's go move this front plane. We have an axis right here. So let's go back to that circular pattern As you can see, it is part pattern. So let's go do this normally. So right now it's asking us entities to pattern, and it's asking us part pattern. This is not what we want, but let's just try it out and see why this is not what we want. So entities to pattern, that just tells us to find a part. So this is a part, acts as a pattern right here. And what? This is not it. As you can see, part 2, part 3, part 4, it creates 4 new parts. We do not want 4 new parts. We just want just one part. Okay, and obviously mess around with this 360, 300 degrees. That just means only gonna go to 300 degrees, but we want to go 360. And instant count is how many times we want. So let's say 6, 8. Just rotate. It just, you know, just does how many instances you want. Right now we want 4 because we have 4 sides. Okay, so how do we not make these parts? So, well, go to the part pattern and press feature pattern. Okay, and let's go find the features we want. The features we want is the extrusion that's making the cylinder. So let's go press that. Okay, and the extrusion making the middle part. So press that. As you can see, it's fixed. But sometimes, let's get rid of this middle part. It's like red. This is not good. And the way you'd fix this is just press reapply features, and it fixes itself. But sometimes you don't need to do that. But when it turns red, just press reapply features. And let's click the middle, and boom. Lucky for us, when we press the middle extrusion, it kind of fixes itself. Let's press check. And ta-da! We made our first part. Look at this. Looks like a pipe and a very weird looking Lego piece. And let's go make this more fancier. As you can see, two sharp, very sharp edges, too sharp. The way we can get rid of these sharp edges, so let's just say when you're making a part on your own and you're handling it and you really don't want those sharp edges. So the way we round them is using this fillet tool. Okay, that just tells us what edge to find out, telling us entities to fillet. The only stuff you can fillet is faces like this. But if you want more control, select the edge. Right now we want to fillet these edges. Okay, so just selecting those edges. Now they're more rounded. Okay, and let's go fillet the edges of these things. Okay, and let's go fillet the edges of this. And ta-da! And boom, we made our first part. So congratulations. So clap it up. Amazing. Now, if you want to be fancy, okay, there's this tool called Shell, and it would actually hollow it out, and as you can see, very cool. Okay, see the insides and everything, hollows everything out. So that's a very cool feature. And right now, I want you guys to figure out mess around with that shell feature, see what it does. But overall, this is what we're going to end with. Obviously, do not copy exactly what I did. In fact, I want you guys to add something extra to this. Right now, I don't want you guys to exactly copy this. Well, I want you to exactly copy my step. I want you to add something onto it. So try to add, if right now it kind of looks like the siren head guy, try making a body for it, or just add more shapes like that. Try to connect these two shapes or these two corner holes and try doing that. But overall, this is pretty much it. Okay, so in our next video, we're going to learn how to revolve and try to make a little bit more complex shapes. In our third video, we're going to go over making multi-body parts and assembly. Okay, so that pretty much concludes today's video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I kind of want 100 subscribers, okay, by the end of this month, okay, which is like in 6 days. But if we get that to happen, I'll be a very, very happy man, okay. And that's pretty much it. And thank you guys.